Hey everybody, it's Dr. Hankins. Last week I was talking to you guys about omega-3 sufficiency and why you should supplement with omega-3s. This week I want to talk to you about why I take vitamin D and why you should too. So first of all, what is vitamin D? Well, it comes in two forms, the active form and the inactive form. The inactive form is called calcitriol. The active form of vitamin D is called cholecalciferol. Okay, and so cholecalciferol, what vitamin D actually does in your body is it helps with absorption of calcium. So why is calcium important? Well, calcium, for one, helps your muscles to move. Calcium helps with wound healing. Calcium helps with bone growth and resorption. Calcium helps with your nerve signals to actually provide proper input. So essentially, it functions in a lot of different ways in your body. And so if you don't have proper amounts of vitamin D, your body can go wrong. So, well, what are the proper amounts? Well, a lot of people, a lot of doctors have agreed on at least 20 nanograms per milliliter is basically the bare minimum. Now, a lot of people actually show that you should be probably 30 to 40 nanograms per milliliter, and all the way up to probably 60 to 70 is actually like a really functional range. So what happens and what exactly goes wrong and how do we get outside that normal range that we're supposed to be in? Well, there's two different ways that we're able to get vitamin D through intake. Number one is through exposure to the sun, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Number two is through nutritional intake, whether that be congestion of food or supplements. So let's go back to the main way that you get vitamin D, which is through absorption through the sun. There's two different types of ultraviolet rays. There's UVA and there's UVB. UVB is what's important because it's the one that actually helps you absorb vitamin D through the sun. When you put on sunscreen, that will actually block that absorption. Okay, and the other way that it's blocked is it never actually gets to Earth. So this is in the winter months when the sun is not basically leveraged close enough in order to penetrate the atmosphere, and it never breaks through to the atmosphere, so you never get the absorption. Okay, so winter is especially important time for you to be supplementing with vitamin D. So about 50% to 70% of Americans are actually deficient in vitamin D, depending on what limit they use to measure deficiency. And turns out, I want to talk real briefly about what happens with COVID, because that seems to be a lot of the talk. With COVID, there's a study in Indonesia that shows that about 95% of the people that died had vitamin D deficiency, and only about 4% that were actually sufficient in vitamin D died. So this is especially important in fighting a virus and maintaining your nerve system, your immune system, and keeping that functional. So that's another big implication of vitamin D.